Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to Left 4 Dead 2. Probably have taken a little bit more time away from playing this than I would have liked to. It's been just a couple of days, but it probably would have been fairly nice. I think we picked a random person and then we ended up playing, would be my guess, as Rochelle. Because I recall seeing Ellis, and maybe we did play as Nick. Let's just play as Nick for this one. We've got some room. There is some weirdness, certainly, though, I will say, in it. We ended Dead Center, and then we played the first part of No Mercy, which is just the maps from the first game. We may jump around and do just like the first section of each of the other maps if we have free time, instead of just trying to play all the way through No Mercy, or we may play all the way through No Mercy if we have free time and then end up not playing the other scenarios, because I definitely am not feeling like there's a great reason to play the old maps just because there's a slightly improved, although I would say very, very much improved for 1 year gameplay mechanic in Left 4 Dead compared to Left 4 Dead 1. I just don't think it fixes the.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Can you lower the bridge? We need to get across the river. Sorry, can't. We lost a guy, and another's injured. If you can find another way over, we can help you get the bridge down. If that's what we gotta do, that's what we gotta do. Good
Well,
luck.
I'm definitely taking this sword. And let's see. So, canonically, I suppose this is where the characters from the first game meet up, and I figured this was going to happen at some point.
Okay, explain something to me. How is an under the river tour scenic? Through this park.
So it's going to tell me immediately to stay together when I'm only a few steps away. We've got a massive amount of people. Now, I will say, what is starting to show interesting, that guy looked like he just dropped a Molotov.
Throwing a Molotov.
So, can characters just now drop things? Is that now in the game? That would make a lot of sense. Certainly, in that would be. There's a spitter. This feels like this is kind of an oddly linear level that is going to take us away from where we want to go. And slicing this guy didn't help. Keep moving, resist his influence. Yeah, I wasn't really even trying. So the swing setup on this is pretty awful. Does Spitter have different color palettes of her outfits? We might recognize that they're doing that for a lot of zombies, so we should keep an eye out for that. Seems like they are basically spawning out of these dirt paths. But yeah, the wind up, like before you actually do damage on this, is noticeably slow, where you would think you could just swing back and forth like crazy on this. Meanwhile, playing with the sword needs to be replaced very quickly, and that kind of highlights how this weapon swapping mechanic, while much better than Left 4 Dead 1, here we can see the skybox and the fog issue still being an issue for the source engine. Yeah. It feels like each of these weapons needs to feel very unique and very different. Interesting, I broke the window, but I still can't walk through there.
We can get around through this store. Hunter!
Hunter's got Nick!
Interesting.
Guns in this store.
Alright, well. Let's see, we have special guns, but we don't have handguns there as an option. What was that? What special infected makes that sound? Interesting. Watch this. We'll just... You know, we have weird looking old fashioned keyboards back in the day when keyboards with extra buttons were particularly preferred, and then we have very large monitors. This, I suppose, is supposed to be a gaming center, and yet they have a band poster on the wall.
Pills here.
So,
Adrenaline shot here.
you guys pick that up, or
This is
you know what, I'll just give it to somebody to make it easier. And once again, we are starting to see, like, we got a grenade launcher.
Hell yeah, grenade
I
launcher.
think I'll take the grenade launcher, but then I'm gonna get rid of it fairly quickly. And this spitter is nothing, and then you really can't throw that up and explode it on anything. Not really. I mean, best case scenario, you do something like that, and then you do something like that. And this
Open
definitely
it up.
feels like a very tight area. Interesting chests. Chests just full of timer grenades, which is ridiculous. Like, that is a ridiculously high amount of pipe bombs. That would only really make sense if you were perhaps trying to defend an area. Like, how many different zombies would you be trying to blow up?
Pipe bomb here.
See, that kind of just feels like that's going to go on forever, though, because they constantly speed up. And of course, since you're playing single player, there's no benefit here. Here we have some environmental storytelling. And some paintings on the walls that those are, again, feel like textures that just should not really exist. You could have probably had something slightly more interesting. There you go. Yeah, the grenades don't seem to really bounce. They don't seem to, like, really bounce like a grenade launcher. I kind of expect it to.
Molotov.
And because of that,
Grenade.
I kind of have to
Grabbing a
question whether that's the best setup, or the best way that this gun should interact or work. And that kind of gets into the same problem over and over again, is that this is
Pills here.
kind of a constant
Okay.
it's gonna cycle,
Gotta find me
let
some
you
real
cycle
first aid.
through several different weapons, but then all the weapons are just feeling exactly the same. And so we got forced to move around trucks to make that much more of a linear experience. Yep, and we're just waiting for the game to get bored. So yeah, it does kind of feel like a lot of what Zombie U could have been was suggested or introduced in Left 4 Dead 2. Like the same sword models, the same concepts, cricket bats, things like that. Even if they aren't exactly the same, the concepts seem fairly similar. There definitely would have been some kind of inspiration there. And Zombie U as a game has that advantage. Does this have an infinite range? For the Wii U, in that you really weren't going to be able to have a large community of online players on the Wii U. Like, there was just no chance of that. Even for the Nintendo Switch, online gameplay is secondary at best and probably third or fourth
We gotta get up
choice.
across these walkways.
Y'all better not shoot that car.
Which car? That car? Or this car? Or this car?
Son of a bitch!
Nobody's coming that way yet. And see, the grenade launcher is just too slow for that to be a fun experience. Really? It just seems
Around these parts.
kind of pointless to do that.
Hold up, gonna
Go
heal.
ahead and heal ourselves since we're goofing around.
Okay.
And I'm basically trapped with this katana. They definitely tricked me here
Reload.
and showed me what looked like what it would have been a fun or interesting gameplay mechanic, and then really failed to deliver.
Always use these.
Yep. Let's see.
Have this.
Thanks.
Just make sure
We got
everybody
Molotovs.
has everything as much as they can, because these
Back
guys
this way.
seem to not really want to pick up things. Wait, here we can hear a witch. Think I could run up to a witch and slice her in half? That would be really cool. That would potentially explain. That could potentially explain, like, the let's go ahead and throw one there. They definitely have different outfits. I'm definitely noticing that we're seeing a lot of waiter outfits.
Watch out! Hey, look out!
So you don't even really have enough like wind up to attack these guys.
Into the apartments.
It would make a lot of sense if there was a tank like character.
Boomer!
Like if there was a melee weapon of some sort, or a tank weapon, a melee weapon that would kill the witch in one hit, or kill the, yeah, it's not working, or would kill the tank in one movement.
In here.
And we're getting mixed into
Guns here.
a. That door doesn't open. That door doesn't open. We are seeing considerably fewer of the just
Up the stairs.
spawn closets. So I would be slightly interested in seeing how people respawned if they died. I imagine it really is just a case of there just being corners that you can spawn in, and that's good enough.
Hey, think I heard a boomer.
And so we can just kind of ignore everything. And it's nice to see that the walls are painted, but they are very empty. Interesting. That seems like we just triggered a weather event. And
Fire bullets here.
incendiary ammo packs. Deploy them on the ground to share with the team. Otherwise, what? But yeah, what seriously are we going to be fighting that incendiary bullets start to make more sense? Like, there's a whole bunch of rain outside, and I will applaud them for doing the thing that did not happen in the first game, which is making a sound effect happen.
Guns here.
Right, so we now have a semi-auto gun. No, we have a shotgun. I wanted the
Going with
fully
machine
loaded
gun.
submachine gun. There we go. And yeah, once you get out of here,
Boomer file here.
that is a lot. Let's see.
Incoming.
But then it also seems like that storm was almost designed to scare you away from leaving the apartments, or tell you to prepare to leave the apartments. And you can't get in here,
Over
can
there.
you? Nope. Interesting. And I don't know why they would have specifically wanted you afraid to that level to leave the apartments. And see, that's another example of a very tight area where it's going to be very, very easy to accidentally shoot your companions, and they seem to be doing that intentionally. We have yet to see any kind of bomber runs, So if that does
Through this
happen,
park.
then that is going to probably be a scripted event. This would just trigger more zombies, and I don't think we have any need to do that again. You can't open. Oh, you can open the toilets now. Well, geez, I wonder if that means. Can we open this door? No. Wonder if that means there was some kind of collectibles we may have missed in some of the other toilets in the first scenario.
Charger!
The Charger as a special infected is a good design in that it is specifically programmed to not really be defeatable by one person. Like, you are going to have several people firing at it at once, and even then you may very well not succeed.
Shotgun.
I'm gonna snipe.
Okay.
I'll snipe.
Sniper. Do I really want a sniper? I mean, we could try it again, since we do hear the witch. They're definitely trying to be. Let's see, and now you do.
Nice shot.
Reloading.
You do get to zoom in with just the right stick click, where that was something that was not an option before.
Oh shit, a wedding.
Right. And we have the music playing. And she's in a white dress.
Throwing a Molotov.
Charger!
So, if the new idea was witches were just women who scorned women who were who had a bad time of it, then okay, that works, I suppose. But then it still makes a question as far as the witch in front of No Mercy Hospital, as far as why was she in her underwear. Maybe she was in a car accident, and that's what, or something like that, and they're bringing her into the hospital. Interesting stacks of chairs. And it definitely feels like we are getting a soundtrack to this game now.
Get that zombie.
We got a hunter.
Which hopefully I don't get content ID on this music, but
Check its in.
yeah, it's definitely more
Weapons over
interesting,
here.
certainly, to have a sound effects. Wow, and you just get a full list of Molotovs.
Molotov. Lighten it up. Smokers around.
And so you're kind of assuming that this is just like a whole, that this whole thing is just a wedding party, and that the entire wedding party had been converted into zombies.
Behind this bus.
Reloading!
Is there
Reloading.
a reason to use the incendiary charges at the moment, though.
Kill that zombie, it's got something. Spit coming. Nice shot, youngin'.
What zombie had what?
Stop shooting me.
Alright, let's see what this does.
Fire, boys.
We deploy incendiary ammo.
Well, all right.
Now my gun has fire ammo. And see, I can't even click on this and point it to them. So they're just not willing to take that ammo. It's certainly a interesting idea, to say the least, that you might deploy incendiary ammo. I'm gonna try and shoot some zombies that are near any of these other guys. Although I would have had to run into the sanctuary first to get that achievement. Wow, they are gonna potentially let me die right at the end.
It look easy.
Let's see. Lights your targets on fire. I did 2,000 damage to the tank, which I'd like to know how much damage I really did to the witch. I didn't even do the most amount of damage to the witch. Interesting. People are healing me.
Zoe, huh? What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking of her too, Nick. Oh,
Yeah, agreed. She is totally out of your league.
So, they're potentially fighting over the Zoe character. Did we use a golf club putter? Seems like the challenge here in every game, every new section, is going to be to switch around to another ridiculous melee weapon. But there really does not feel like there's a balance here to justify even 1 out of 4 players to have a melee weapon. It just seems ridiculous. And I bet this never
Bill's here.
bends or anything. I'm just
gotta
gonna go
heal.
ahead and heal myself a second time.
All right, now I'm back.
And then take that. And you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just run back in there and grab weapons that I had on the ground.
That spitting bitches around.
Yeah, you see it. You can pull the trigger a little bit faster, but it doesn't really help you. So we're gonna, it seems in this case, be able to transfer in a couple of different paths. That one was walking awkwardly. So that there's going to be some side paths that we can see, and this is supposed to be kind of a more Skid Row back alley type section with liquor
Reloading.
liquor stores and pawn shops
Nice shot.
and red lit. I guess they're crawfish restaurants. Although I think at some point this might have been
Pay attention.
to imply like prostitution houses.
Who in the hell shot me?
So are we going this way to the tattooist? Well, what's funny is that this feels like there's actual scenes, unlike the first game where it was very generic things. Visual storytelling of somebody getting tattooed and turning into a zombie. And
Boomer Bile here. Who wants a tattoo?
interesting.
Go in, lighten it up. Grabbing a bile jar.
Let's see if we could maybe throw the vial of Boomer Vial on the spitter.
Thing off my back.
Alright, well,
Puke in the hole.
we'll go ahead and
Healing.
heal ourselves. I almost feel like the difficulty has gone up
Better.
somewhat because of
We got Molotovs.
the flame bullets that I have. There's nothing hidden back here, is there? This is Club D.
These windows.
Throwing a Molotov.
Alright, so there's a pool hall. And then there's a beer section. Is there any other building?
Shocking bastards around.
Yeah, I think. I'll tell you, it does not really feel like you're controlling anything. So this said beer, and then there's just t-shirts here in the room. That seems
We got a smoker.
inconsistent.
Weapons over here.
Yeah, that seems like a very inconsistently labeled area. Then we can get back here. And then that only gets you about as far as this way. Then you can get through this door. Just burning myself to death here.
Okay, that's gonna last for a bit. Bill's here.
Hey, I'm reloading.
Yeah, I need to really quit goofing off before I end up actually dying. And so we're seeing the pool tables,
Grabbing pills.
and we have
Ah, music to kill by.
another
Into the construction site.
Reloading.
So maybe you can.
Reloading.
Yeah, you can, I guess, kind of avoid going down in the sewer section, which would be
Reloading.
the like most dangerous area. But it seems to me like you probably can't avoid it for very long because you then end up doing that anyways. And you can barely get through there. Interesting that the music gets quieter. We've seen more of these lights used properly. There the game automatically had me crouched down, so I got it at the right angle. Yeah, I appreciate seeing the generators actually be used for something interesting. A car drove by.
All right, hang on. This might sting a bit.
Spitters.
Oh yeah.
You can't open these things. That's interesting, certainly though, to see a car actually drive by
Through
and
this building.
set off an alarm noise. And see, it's like the game is giving you options by telling you through this building, but it also kind of feels like it's not giving you options and it's more just telling you what to do. But you can't really complain too much about this. Here we have a
Shotgun.
fairly small bar. Come on, take the pills. Oh, he can't take the pills, can he? He picked up the other pills. And so you have kind of... Is that the band we just killed? Did we just kill the entire band? You see there's a lot of stuff here. Are they gonna come from the ceiling? Yeah, I don't think there are.
Hey, look out!
So this almost feels like this would have been a safe house, or an experiment in the idea of having a safe house that was
Adrenaline shot here.
actually not a safe house, in the sense that you go out one area and come in
Up these
another, and instead it's a safe house where you can just go and
Don't mind if I do.
magnum pistols.
Smoker's got me!
Nice shot, Coach. Nailed it.
So we'll take a magnum. Now there's not another magnum here, is there?
Look here.
You can have 2 of the regulars. So there's like 5 guns there,
Hell
but
yeah.
only one of them's a magnum. And this definitely feels like a drug deal, or prostitution deal, or gun running deal. Like this whole thing feels like a prostitution house with mattresses on there, or human trafficking of some sort. So I guess that's the question, is was there gang activity? And it feels like this is. And you gotta say, this is like great. This is way more of an experience without having to actually tell. It's a lot of showing and no telling,
Molotov.
which is great because for the multiplayer concept, you wouldn't want to have
Let's
to.
open this up.
You wouldn't want to have the same dialogue over and over again.
Sounds like a hunter.
Fight amongst yourselves.
So go ahead and decide to throw
Lighten it up.
that while we're at it, and throw that
Molotov.
while we're at it. The funny thing here is you really just cannot actually clear out an area. You're just not going to actually be able to pull that off because they respawn so much. Alright. So there were some other ways, but I feel like the other ways lead to this way.
Alright, that's better.
Pills here.
And feels like you could.
Throwing a Molotov.
Feels like we're gonna work our way down that direction, but you probably don't want to jump down.
Charger!
And the game is just gonna keep on getting bored with you, so it's just gonna
Down here.
almost constantly hand you more and more special mutants to fight. It just does not really allow for any falling action, where arguably I would feel like the AI director, which felt like it was trying to do something more cinematic in the first game, has now been replaced almost completely with a much more simplified experience that seems to kind of just run random number checks. It's like, did I roll a 6 on a 6-sided dice? If yes, then I'm going to spawn this monster. If I rolled a 5, I'll spawn this monster. If I roll a 1, I'll not spawn anything.
We got a boomer. Reloading.
You would kind of expect an experience in line with shooting with the Magnum if this was a more single-player focused game. At least when you hit about the halfway point in the gameplay. Like, that is the transfer you expect to see in a Resident Evil game, is that you stop it stops being a horror game where you actually are trying to survive or struggling to survive, and it becomes a adventure game where you are totally capable of killing hundreds upon thousands of them, of the zombies. Looks like we are going in the jazz club. Doesn't seem like there's a different option.
Reloading.
What was that?
Reloading.
Reloading.
Take it, just take it.
And give Alice the pills, because we don't want Alice to die. Meanwhile,
Molotov
we'll
here.
look in here.
Reloading.
And it does say that zombies got something.
I'm gonna heal.
Hey, where's Alice?
I should probably save this for me, but
Grabbing first aid.
what the hell?
Much better now.
And see, she just grabbed the first aid
Pills here.
kit. Interesting. Instead of Alice using it, which it's fairly obvious Alice did need to use the first aid kit. They still are trying
This will
to
take us under the river.
hide.
Fire spit coming. Damn it! Covered in goo.
Where did that one come from? So this is going to take us down into the river, which then makes me wonder, was there any other option here? Does this just go up here doing nothing? I guess it does. It sure doesn't feel like that.
Shoot this thing off my back! Hunter,
Yeah, that sure feels like that would have been an alternate path, but I guess they felt they had to. Had to work their way into it.
Fire coming!
Yeah, and then I guess if you just sit around and don't do anything, you will.
Yes, good. Crowbar.
Reloading.
I'm a reload.
Yeah, and everybody ends up reloading at the same time. It probably would be beneficial if they didn't have everybody say
Reloading.
say I'm reloading at the same time. Here we have what look like, once again, historic photos that are nice and all, but did they really need to make those textures? Like, or license those textures? Actually, in this game, it's so much about the video RAM budget more than the textures. I really can't complain that there are posters and things on the wall. That's nice decoration, and it's way better than the boring brick walls we see otherwise. But
Reloading.
like there's like
Impressive.
problems, or at least there were problems with the first engine as far as
Reloading.
things not really being rendered that I think were more
Follow
important.
the walkway.
Keep me tight.
Yeah. I feel like the Magnum should probably have like 6 shots at most. It seems like it's just a little too easy to unload on these guys. Anyways, I guess following the walkway is the only option anyways. Yeah, and see, even that, I have plenty of bullets to try and take out some more people, and the reload isn't that slow.
Molotov. We got a hunter.
Hey, good shooting.
Seems like I cannot reload that gun with the incendiary bullets
Guns here.
as long as it has the incendiary bullets. This was over here, secreted away.
Charger.
Yeah, again, it feels like something like the sword or the I'm just gonna shoot all the incendiary bullets I can. And see, even at that, he didn't die fast enough.
The shotgun.
And there goes the incendiary bullets, which kind of proved themselves to be fairly useless.
Why is everything always so goddamn filthy?
Jockey. Reload.
Let him pick me up.
This is not really the kind of gun I would like.
Defibrillator here.
Reloading.
Let's see. Coach. Coach, can you take the defibrillator? No. Seems like That is a specific gun that or item you cannot hand over to somebody else.
First aid.
Let's see, this guy had bullets all over him. So the game is definitely trying a lot better as far as making sure that, particularly in single player, that you are going to be able to win. Notice how I was pointing forward there? The animation got stuck.
Jockey.
Yep. It feels like there definitely should be like a quick time
Club
event
here.
when the jockey jumps on you, where it says just smash the A button. Notice how that is not breakable. That seems odd. That feels like that totally should be breakable.
Should we wait until they finish?
What does this say?
Explosive rounds here.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and heal.
Hold up, gonna heal.
And then I guess I'm gonna try and see if I can take the explosive
Better.
rounds with me to the big boss fight at the end of the next sequence.
Careful. A hunter's around.
Notice how that zombie didn't even
Let's get off
start
these stairs.
moving. Yeah, and maybe with special infected or with not having the magnum, coming down these stairs is
do this
a bit
together.
more of a challenge, but kind of does
Lighten
not
it up.
feel like much of a challenge at the current moment. Of course, I am also playing it on easy, so I can't really complain about the game being too easy if I'm playing it on easy. But I do think it's probably somewhat fair to complain about the game being fairly repetitive still. And that probably does come back into the idea of whether or not I really would want to play.
Let's keep moving.
So we gotta jump down this way. There's probably zombies all over here, but I can't even see them
Reloading.
Reloading.
because it's so dark.
Watch out.
Yeah, from the looks of it, looks like this is a big empty water section. We've kind of seen this before.
Reloading.
And I guess the question is,
Oh man, I
how do we get up here?
Reloading.
False alarm.
Keep a lookout.
Reloading.
So,
Everyone out of the pool.
yeah, the idea is to get everybody to leave that area fairly quickly and not stay in the water.
Reloading.
Can't knock these over. Can't shoot them over either. I thought that might be interesting if that electrified everything.
Big gun.
Hey, look out.
Right, this is a different kind of gun, so I'm gonna take it.
Try the scope out.
First aid kit here.
Alright, so nobody's gonna pick up this first aid kit, really? Seriously?
Weapons over here.
I can't give this to anybody. All I can do is deploy. Right, so run to the safe room. Is that way? Seriously, guys? Nobody here?
First aid here.
I hear one of those jockeys.
First aid kit here.
I'm gonna shoot the shit out of
First aid.
Like, clicking on it seems to not allow anybody to pick it up.
First aid here.
Like, seriously. Elias, you have no first aid kit. Pick it up. Keep moving, run to the safe room. Buy some get some ammo.
Let's get in before we open that door.
Okay. So from the looks of it, let's see if maybe I can convince them to
First aid kit here.
pick it up this time. No, they won't. It looks like we're going to have a big fight on our hands.
There's a spitter around. Having first aid. Nice shot.
Here we have what looks like a respawn closet. They did pick up that first aid kit. And see, if there was any
Nailed it,
achievement for hitting a bunch of people with a
Kill
magnum,
that zombie. He's got something.
there was any achievement for that at all. See, what's funny is I
Reloading.
feel like that zombie didn't drop anything. It would be, I would have gotten it then. Right.
First aid here.
No, they just don't want to
Charger around,
walk
get
in
ready.
that area. They've just been hard programmed to not run in that area. Alright. Well, I feel like this is just establishing
Deploying frag rounds.
an idea.
Cool.
Yes.
So now I have an army of one achievement.
I hit it. Great. Back to the goddamn history of sewage.
So we're just waiting. Do we run? Or are we waiting for that to close?
Hey, I'm reloading.
Like, that doesn't look like that's moving, so I think we just run this way.
Keep moving.
And this is supposed to be explosive rounds. Not really seeing anything very explosive here. Oops, just shoot all my own guys. Now that we're done with the explosive rounds. This is such a different experience that they're having to tell you directly, just keep moving, just run, it's not going to stop.
I opened it. Reloading here.
Let's just see how many people we can punch. I'm gonna die if I'm not careful here. You guys ready? Are these guys still good? Yeah, it's getting very hard to push forward as the massive amount of zombies happen.
Reloading.
But I like that. I like that a lot. That worked very nicely as a different experience. Instead of just the same old organizations of 20 zombies. Because we're getting waves here of what feels like 40 or 50 minimum zombies.
Reloading.
And
Ladder.
that is appreciated to see the numbers up. And honestly, I don't think if you got it up to 80 or 100
Kills
or
here.
anything significantly higher,
Heads up.
you would particularly find a major improvement.
Look out now!
Let's see. What's funny is we're not really
Reloading here!
making it to a safe room.
Awesome!
Yeah, you're still not killing a lot of people, even in that massive fight. 350. The numbers don't get ridiculously high. Like, yeah, so, and at a certain point, the numbers probably shouldn't get ridiculously high because it does start to be just vanity more than reality if you're trying to have a game where you're killing 1,000 zombies in a section. Alright, so in this case, I think this is a semi-auto, where I think this is an auto. Plus, I don't think I've used that gun before. And we have a baseball bat, which I think we've already played that.
Reloading!
That was crazy that the game got bored while we were in the safe house. And a massive amount of zombies decided to attack. That is very interesting. Meanwhile, do we have anything more to do? Interesting how the smoke makes it through the door.
Yeah, I'm ready already.
I'd think you'd probably not program that, normally speaking. Alright, well, it's been another hour. It seems like what we'll either end up doing is having scenarios with 4 chapters that take 2 hours each, or we'll have scenarios with 3 chapters that take 1.5 hours, and then end up doing some of the old maps. That was nice, although I will say we still are very much kind of stretching, trying really hard to find new content, trying to find interesting content. That last sequence is great, but then the wind up to that sequence was probably about 40 minutes of just doing the normal running through hallways that are slightly wider in Left 4 Dead 2, but still just basically hallways full of minimal amounts of zombies, which creates a weird scenario where the falling action is when you're just running around shooting zombies, and then you have slightly rising action when the AI director decides to throw a slightly larger horde at you, and now we've established a hyper action sequence where it scripted wise threw hundreds of zombies at us and told us to run, whereas theoretically you could have, just from playing the first game, pretty well known that you should have run from all zombies at all times if you can anyways. That there's very, very little benefit of shooting zombies. Slightly better now that it will drop an item, but you would only need items if you took damage, and you'll only take damage if you actually get in the way of a zombie, whereas you could pretty much just run around them in a lot of scenarios. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.